Good afternoon, Packers fans. Aaron Nagler here with your Packers Daily Chat, coming to you live on the Cheesehead TV social channels. It is Thursday. We are one day closer to the showdown between the Cardinals and the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field. Noon kickoff, and apparently could be our first weather game of the year. So far, the forecast showing that not only will temperatures be in the low 50s, but rain is supposed to set in as the contest continues. Possibility for a mud bowl coming up. Some classic images, no doubt, come to mind. Depending on how old you are, maybe you're thinking of Forrest Gregg and his face full of mud, or you could be thinking of Edgar Bennett and Dorsey Levens running all over the San Francisco 49ers, or maybe you're just not a fan of mud. You're not thinking of any of that. But the potential for a Josh Jacobs Mud Bowl takeover is high. I love the idea of Matt LaFleur leaning into his running game. And yes, I have no doubt they will continue to throw the ball regardless of the weather. Don't think it's going to become a Lombardi style effort there from the green and gold. But, woo, baby, I love a good Mud Bowl rainy day at Lambeau Field. And right now, that's what it looks like it might be. Now, forecasts can change. Things may turn out being sunny and lovely, and maybe there's no rain at all, or maybe it hits after the game, etc. But right now, that's what it looks like. And I tell you, I absolutely love those type of games. So, something to keep an eye on. Bit of news today. Matt LaFleur indicating that Luke Musgrave will, quote, most likely go on injured reserve. He's dealing with an ankle injury. He was up for the game against the Rams, but did not play from scrimmage. I know LaFleur indicated on Schneidman's podcast, which I believe went up 2 nights ago, that they had him up as an emergency option, and that Musgrave was really fighting through that ankle. Sounds like things aren't progressing or getting better. He is going to go on injured reserve. The Packers have signed tight end John Fitzpatrick off the Falcons practice squad. He will become a member of the 53-man roster. Known mostly as a blocking tight end, clearly one of the extra bodies you might need to execute some of that running game stuff. Although I don't think they're going to throw him out there right away. Obviously, I think Ben Sims will get the majority of the run in 2 tight end sets to begin with, especially on Sunday against the Cardinals. But Fitzpatrick going to be joining the 53-man roster. Hello to everybody in the comments. Hope you're all doing well. Good to see everybody mixing it up. Got to give a shout out to our good friends over at PrizePicks. That's right. PrizePicks is daily fantasy sports made easy. You just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make PrizePicks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Go to prizepicks.com and use code CHTV. That's code CHTV. Spend $5 on lineups and get $50 instantly. Tonight, that's right, I'm playing the running back that leads the league in touches, Jordan Mason, going up against a banged-up Seattle front seven. Seahawks opponents are running at 4.7 yards per carry and 141.6 total yards per game. Definitely think Mason goes over 84.5 yards. If you want to join in the fun, go to the link in the description of this video. Get yourself the PrizePicks app. Do it, folks. Join on in. Always a lot of fun. I know anybody watching Watch Party saw Corey Benke mercilessly making fun of me for my PrizePicks. But let me tell you, I'm on one tonight. And throughout this week, I'll be doing some more picks on Friday for the weekend's games, specifically the Packers game. Going to be a good time, people. Join on in, download the app, have a great time. And please note, it is available in Wisconsin. You can do pick'ems in Wisconsin through PrizePicks. So do it. Download the app. I know you want to. Have a good time. What's up, people? How we doing, Jeezy baby? Starting us off with a super chat. How you doing, man? Kraft Yak and Cheese is a GOAT nickname. It most certainly is. Well, we attempted a Kraft Yak and Cheese t-shirt, which promptly got shut down by Kraft, but the organization, not the player. We may have to do a new version of that at some point. Andrew, thanks for the super chat, man. I'll take rain. Just please no 90-minute lightning delays. I hear you there. And thankfully, from what I've read, that is not going to be the case. There shouldn't be lightning in the area, though, like I said before, things can change, no doubt about it. Sideline report says, I'm going to be so happy if the 49ers go to 2-4. It is fascinating to watch how the 49ers have somewhat struggled out of the gate here in 2024. Going back and watching the game against the Cardinals, which obviously I wanted to anyway because the Cardinals are the Packers' next opponent. But you're watching that game and you get through, I mean, they block a kick and return it for a touchdown. And then I think a series or two later, Bosa intercepts Kyler Murray on an attempted wide receiver screen. I'm just sitting there going, how did the 49ers lose this game? And then you do remember, oh, right, their kicker was injured. So at one point, they've got like a 4th and 23, and they have to go for it because they can't kick a field goal. So a bit of extenuating circumstances there. But yeah, it is fascinating to see 49ers kind of stumbling along here. 0-2 in the division. That's insane for a team that has been, 11-1 against the division in the last 12 games. It's no doubt the Avengers are stumbling a little bit, but they're too talented. Kyle's too good a coach. I can't imagine that they don't figure it out. Does that happen tonight? Yeah, that's why we watch, right? It's a division game, and those are always tough, but we'll see. Angry Casual Fan, how are you, man? Nags, tell LaFleur to run the damn ball. Listen, man, LaFleur could care less about what I say. And here's the best part. I'll bet if I said, or if I just texted him, hey, Matt, run the damn ball, he'd probably throw it more just to spite me. I'm kidding. He wouldn't care at all. He would just say, new number, who dis? Joe, what's up, man? Does rain affect ability to control Murray? We'll see. Depends on the cleats, I would imagine. What length of studs are you wearing? Both you, the defense, and him, the runner. I mean, obviously, the old adage is the offense, the advantage goes to the offense because they know where they're going, right? And defenders have to react and what have you. Although at some point, I do think, man, it's going to be slippery for everybody, and they are all playing on the same surface. But yeah, I don't think it really inhibits or hinders the ability to do what you want to do as far as maintaining your rush lane integrity, perhaps having a spy on the quarterback on occasion. You're still able to do all that stuff. You're both running on the same surface. You just got to execute, man. Just got to execute. Krista says, Nags and I matching hoodies today. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, I had to pull it out today. It's the first real cool fall-like day here in New York. So nice. Still too sunny for my taste, but a very good, cool, crisp autumn day in New York. So I had to get it out. What else we got here, folks? Best Packers mutter running back Edgar Bennett. Dawson, you don't need to put a question mark there. Absolutely 100% the best mutter I've ever seen. Now, obviously, you can go back to, like I was talking about before, in the 60s, and even right after I was born with Terrell Middleton. There have certainly been great mutters throughout the years. In Green Bay, the best one I ever saw, though, was Edgar Bennett. There was something about the way he was able to play whenever he was on a muddy field, whether it was in Lambeau or down in Soldier Field, any place else they traveled where it rained and it got muddy. He was outstanding in the elements. No question about it. What else we got here, folks? King Favre, what's going on, man? Happy birthday to your namesake. Last offseason, Goot reshaped the safety room. Which position group could it be next season, or too early to tell? Linebacker, cornerback, and D-line could all be reshaped. Well, I suspect it's linebacker. Talked about this a little bit on transplants, but yeah, the makeover at safety has been incredible, right? It's hard to do complete makeovers like that at multiple position groups in one offseason. I suspect linebacker is the next group to get at least an influx of talent. Now they have selected, they drafted 2 linebackers this year. Obviously, Cooper is getting more and more playing time. Hopefully, we see a lot more of him this week. But I do think there's a possibility that they bring in a classic Mike type linebacker in the offseason to try and help, hold down the middle and allow those guys in Walker and Cooper to be a little bit more kind of free-flowing and let them be athletes rather than having to hold down the mic position. But yeah, I do think of the position groups that could use the makeover, probably linebacker. Corner, you're always looking for corners. If one is there in the draft, they'll probably select one because it's a premium position as far as being in the first round. As for defensive line, I mean, you did just pay Kenny, and Devontae Wyatt is a former first-round pick. Perhaps if you're talking about the edge group, I mean, they did just pay Rashawn, so perhaps they move on from and or find a replacement for Preston Smith. I think the idea would be to do that internally with Lucas Van Ness, though who knows with how he's somewhat struggled out of the gate here. Maybe that's an ongoing evaluation and they kind of change course in the offseason. But of those that you mentioned, yeah, I think linebacker is the one that I could see being most uprooted. Ed, thanks again, man. Is it asking too much for a 42-9 game, a dagger by the second quarter? Jim Taylor was pretty good in the mud. Jim Taylor was pretty damn good in the mud. To my point, like there have been many great mudders throughout the years at Lambeau. 42-9 game, why not, man? Let's do it. Let's be celebrating by halftime. I'm in on this idea. Unfortunately, I don't think the Cardinals are going to play along, but hey, man, if we can get there, I'm all for it. Craig, thanks for the super chat, man. Do you think Matt LaFleur tries to get Doubs involved early to soothe the ego, or does he have to earn a spot back? Fascinating question, Craig, and only Matt can answer that. I suspect the latter, but wouldn't be surprised at the former. There's no way that there isn't some kind of gnawing voice in the back of Matt's head about, oh, make sure that Romeo gets the ball at some point, right? Now, as far as where it is in the game plan, where it happens in the flow of the game, I buy Matt at his word when he talks about, it's all in service to getting the victory, and you're not driving you're not using the engine to drive yourself to get Romeo the ball. It's all about how do we get the win, and if his involvement it makes sense against the opponents that he's facing in the secondary, in the schemes that go against each other, as far as what the Cardinals like to do and what the Packers are trying to do on offense. If it works within that, yeah, 100%. But you're not going out of your way to make it happen in any way, shape, or form. Most hated, how are you, man? Thanks for being a Care of the G Club member. As much as I want to see the pass rushers have another dominant performance, I think we have to wait another week. Time to play contain again. I think you're onto something there. I think there's a decent chance we see, maybe not a mush rush, but we do see some very disciplined rush from the ends in particular. Because I do think, obviously, with the defensive tackles, yes, you want to get upfield, you want penetration, but you don't want to leave wide open lanes. But to me, the edges are the real kind of key here as far as making sure you don't get past the quarterback and leave that spot for Kyler to step up and escape out the door, so to speak. I think, yeah, rush lane integrity is a big, big, big component this week. Jeezy Baby, thanks again, man. Gale Sayers had 6 touchdowns in a mud game. Bear gets prop. Yeah, no doubt. Gale Sayers was a real one. Absolutely no question about it. Daryl, the good half? Yeah, if they win 42-9 and it's decided by halftime, I guess the first half would be the good half. Sounds good to me. Nathan says, Jacobs 100+ and 2 tutties for the first time as a Packer this weekend. From your YouTube comment to the football god's ears. I like it. I like it. Landon, you know what else is from Wisconsin? Hint, it's creamy and cold. What could that be?
Well, we carry the G wherever we may be, so creamy and cold, and from the land of the green and gold.
That's right, carry the G Cream Ale, the official beer of Cheesehead TV. If you're in Wisconsin, get yourself some Carry the G tonight, this weekend. Get it for the game. Get it for your Lambeau tailgate or your tailgate at home or for any time. It's really about carrying the G wherever you are, whenever you might be, kicking back, having some beers with your friends, get yourself some Carry the G. Go to cheeseheadtv.com. Go to the website. You see the beer tab there. Go to the interactive map that we have on that page. Just enter your zip code, and you'll see a list and a map showing where you can buy some Carry the G close to you. Do it, people. You know you'll want to. I don't know. Mike Malone, do you think an issue like what hap? What hap? What do you mean what hap? I don't know what that means. What else we got here, folks? As long as Jacobs doesn't fumble, we got this. Javier, why do you put that out in the ecosphere here? Why you gotta bring us down, man? I mean, you're right, but why do you gotta bring us down? Rai, Packers goal line stand versus Rams was underrated. Yeah, I think that's fair. That's fair. I think the Packers are a work in progress in that regard. Good goal line stand. Perhaps some not so great stands in short yardage situations. Something to work on. Always something to work on. Ken Davis was pretty good in bad weather. I like it. Mimsy, how are you, man? An honor to be clickbait material for Tyler. Well, that's good. I mean, Tyler's always looking for good clickbait. No question about it. What else we got here, folks? Edge Cooper looking like Clay Matthews Jr. Whoa, Dean. I think that's a bit much. He has looked athletic as hell. He has certainly popped off the screen, but man, that first kind of blush from Clay Matthews his rookie year, I don't think I've really seen that yet. But he looks good. Looks promising. Certainly like what you saw against the Rams. Hopefully a lot more of that to come and more of him getting back on the field. Someone's saying Ford is back. I haven't seen that officially yet. I know he's been practicing. Jonathan Ford, that is. But yes, they have opened up the window for him to come. I'm just checking to see if it's on the old Twitter feed yet. Perhaps it's been announced while I've been live here. But I have not seen that he has been activated yet. I know he's been practicing, and his 21-day window is open to be brought onto the 53-man roster. We'll see if that happens. Dawson. Nags, you still doing Pizza Fridays? If so, any toppings yet? Yep. And nope. We're still doing cheese pizza every Friday night. Steven, thanks for the super chat, man. Rashid's progress has been amazing to watch. No question about it. And shout out, Steven, for reminding me to let people know. Make sure you check out. Billy and I had a great conversation with Rasheed Walker, starting left tackle for the Green Bay Packers, earlier this week on Carry the G Radio. It's available right here on the YouTube channel. Make sure you check that out. And yes, the way how far he has come. I mean, he was playing very well down the stretch last year. And then coming out of the gate this season, a little up and down, a little inconsistent, no question about it. But I think these last 2-3 weeks, he's played much better, and he's looking like the guy we saw at the end of last season. And it is crazy to think about how he was playing those first couple games. I mean, that game down in Atlanta, and then the home opener at Lambeau last year in week 3. Very different cat. Very, very different cat. Tyler is the unsung hero of Cheesehead TV. How unsung can you be? Man, I praise that kid up and down. I'm kidding. You're right. He is unsung, except by me. Craig, what's going on, man? Thanks for the super chat. Speaking of clickbait, what is your favorite this week? Mine was some dude was saying the Chiefs were sniffing around Doubs. It would have had to be a hell of a deal to make that work, LOL. I mean, look, I don't know about reports regarding teams calling about Doubs. I know that's not the only report that was out there. I got to think teams made calls, though. Of course they did. Doubs has been productive. He's young. He's still on a dirt cheap rookie contract. And if things had gone south and things were falling apart for him in Green Bay and the Packers were done with him and wanted to ship him out, you'd be a fool as a general manager or a personnel person in the league not to make that call. So could the Chiefs have called? Sure, absolutely. I think it'd be silly not to. You got to, as Brian said, you got to be in the conversations. You got to be in every conversation. So I suspect the Packers probably fielded a few calls from teams. Mike, thanks, man. Do you think the issue with Doubs is a byproduct of having such a young team? Maybe we lack some veteran leadership showing youngs how to be pros. Mike, you either read my mind or you've forgotten that I've talked about this both on Transplants and on Daily. But yes, 100%. I think it is fascinating to me that Doubs, obviously going AWOL, for lack of a better term, I can't imagine that happens if there is a vet in the room. Like, I can't imagine, say, Devontae Adams trying to pull that and Jordy Nelson not pulling him aside and going, dog, that ain't how we work. You know what I mean? I do think it is not totally that, right? That's not the reason, but I certainly think that environment undoubtedly contributes to it or contributed to it. You don't have a guy in that room that everyone can look up to. I mean, legit, Doubs and Watson are the vets. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think that environment probably played into it a little bit. I don't doubt that for a moment. Dustin, what's up, man? Thanks for the super chat. Tunyon worth a visit? I would be surprised if they went that route. I mean, they moved on for a reason. He's bounced around for a reason. He's, you're not moving. You're moving forward or you're moving back. And if you sign Tunyon, it's probably a move back. They've signed Fitzpatrick, and they'll move that way. Only the Packers would find a starting left tackle in the 7th round. And it's not the first time they've done it. Shout out Mark Tauscher. Yeah, they're not the only team, but hey, it speaks to their personnel group. They are pretty damn good, especially when it comes to the offensive line. All right, everybody, I'm going to have to get going. I cannot thank you enough for hanging out, talking Packers each and every day, Monday through Friday, right here on the Cheesehead TV social channels. Please do me a monster favor. Hit like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and then tell your friends and tell your family. Cheesehead TV, we are devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide. Patreon members, Carry the G Club members, I'll see you on the happy hour starting in a little over a half hour. The rest of you, have a good night and go Pack Go.